Okay, good morning. Today is October 13th, 2017. My goodness. I am still, ladies and gentlemen, doing my dance with the institutional lender, the pretender lender. Yes, that's still happening, if you can believe that. We got our final approval yesterday. I was telling you guys last week about the hoops that we had to jump through because I'm a dirty unemployed bum. And, there's that. But they had at one point had said they were going to, because they weren't comfortable with the fact that I had free and clear apartment buildings. They didn't believe it. They gave me this grief about debt to income. Well, they were making my income artificially low, to protect themselves, whatever, even though my tax returns beg to differ with their assessment. So I had said to them, what if I just pay off the debt that you're talking about prior to closing or as part of closing? Will that affect things? Yeah. Okay. So there's two debts in question. I said, what, pray tell, could these debts be? Well, you have something here for Merrick Bank. Okay. Merrick Bank. And tell me what shows on my credit report as the registered debt. She says, well, right here, Mr. Sheff, it says $8. I see. So $8 on my credit card balance. My balance is $8, which is the fee, the annual fee spread over the month. $8. And what's the other one? And she says, well, the other one is $342, which was on Jill's credit card, showing on the credit report. So they said, send us a statement showing, and I said, it's paid in full. And they said, well, send us a statement showing it's paid in full. Well, the statement doesn't get cut until Monday, because that's whenever the time of the month they do it. So they couldn't understand that. So they said, well, send us the current situation where the way things look right now. Okay, fine. So I sent them a screenshot showing the account number, her name, the fact that she made a payment, and she accidentally transposed two numbers when she made the payment. So she made an overpayment. She gave them too much money, which resulted in a credit of $33. So on the statement, it said, or the printout, it said her account balance was negative 33, which we all know, because, none of us are, except for Dave, are wizards in finance. Negative 33 on a credit card is a good thing. That means you have a credit. Okay, that's what that means. Real simple. But the underwriters at the mortgage company could not grasp this concept. Well, she's upside down on her credit card. She hasn't paid. She's overdrawn. I said, what do you mean how do you overdraw a credit card? It just stops working. That's how it works. Well, she's got a negative balance. Yeah, it's a credit card. She goofed up and overpaid it by accident. She made a mistake. Well, that affects her credit rating. No, it doesn't. It's really? Okay, so that's not the case. So then she gave me this big speech about they were going to reduce our loan balance by 40 grand because of debt to income. So let's talk about what the debt was. The debt was $300 and whatever dollars that actually wasn't even there because we've already paid it. So there's nothing there, and $8. And she's trying to explain to me that means that we can only borrow $40,000 less than what we were originally going to borrow. So I made her repeat it out loud. I said, say that to me again slowly. But I want you to say it like this. Mr. Sheff, because of, which really is a credit of, 33 minus 8. Somebody do the math on that. I owe $8 in debt. Because of the $8 in debt that you show on my credit report, you therefore are taking $40,000 out of my loan to cover $8 of total debt amortized over 30 years. And she got all quiet. I said, I mean, guys, I wish I could make this up. I mean, I'm sitting here going through this conversation and I've got an incredible amount of patience. Yeah, you're right. I should have been pulling my beard hairs out because I was I'm probably one of the most patient people in person. Those that know me in person know that I'm probably one of the most patient people you'll ever meet. Very little upsets me. I just don't get worked up about stuff. It's not worth it. I was getting to my fill with this one. This is the same one that every time we've gone through, they gave me the grief about the fact that you can't have a paid off apartment building. That doesn't make sense. Prove it. And I proved it, and then prove it some more. And then I proved it some more, and then prove it some more. And then they finally got down. The last thing they said to me, which I just told them to pack sand finally, and they backed off, is they said they wanted a letter from every one of my tenants in these two buildings of where the money gets paid. I said, I give you a bank statement showing where the money's deposited. I'm not going to go bother my tenants for a letter. I'm not a child. I'm not doing that. So I guess we're just not going to do the mortgage, is how it plays out. And by saying that, guys, see, the problem is in today's society, we think that when people are loaning us money, they're doing us a favor. Wrong mindset. You're doing them a favor. Banks only make money, really, when they loan money. That's how they make their money. Yeah, they get their little fees for this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, a lender makes their money when they're lending. If they're not lending, they're not making money. So they have to keep that process going. So sometimes, guys, you got to pull the rug out from under them. And no matter how bad you think you may want the mortgage, the loan, the credit card, whatever, sometimes you just got to say no. And you'll be surprised what the reaction will be when you shut them down. And that's exactly what I did. I said, I appreciate all the work you've done on this package to date, but at this point, I'm going to go ahead and withdraw my application. And they were like, what? Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to withdraw the application. Well, Mr. Sheff, why would you withdraw the application? Well, because clearly you don't trust anything that I've said in my application. This is far beyond the scope of USAA. I'm obviously not acting in good faith because you've asked for more due diligence than anybody I've ever met in my life for a property that already has a boatload of equity. So I'm going to have to go ahead and withdraw my application. Well, they didn't like that at all. Oh, let's have a conversation and maybe we can rework this and da. Oh, really? Oh, so now yeah, that's what I thought. Gee, it would look really bad for you, underwriter, that a loan fell apart from two people that got fantastic credit, virtually no debt, and tons of equity, and you found a reason to shoot down the loan. Doesn't make sense. So that's what's been going on. Yeah, it's a challenge at best. So today, guys, if you don't have any questions before we start, does anybody have any questions about that process before we start? Or I guess what we can loosely call a process, because, man, I'm convinced they're making stuff up as we go along. Today, I want to talk about making offers, but more particularly presenting offers. This is something that most investors do a bad job of. They just do, especially newer investors and realtors. Guys, I make fun of realtors a lot. Well, mainly because it's entertaining, but also because they do some dumb stuff. When you go to real estate school, I want you to be clear to understand that when you go to real estate school, they teach you how not to go to realtor jail. They don't teach you about negotiation. They don't teach you about sales. They don't teach you about marketing. They don't teach you about finances. They don't teach you about anything, really. They wait till your broker's exam before they even get into things like NOI and cap rate and all these other different things. They gloss over it in the salespersons, and then you get, at least in Florida, and then you get to broker, they may dig into it a little bit. But at the end of the day, the licensed real estate agent doesn't have any formal training. They only have training so that the state can prove that they should know the laws regarding real estate transactions, but that's it. They don't actually teach how to do them. That's why most real estate agents are starving. My broker told us recently that the average real estate agent in the Tampa Bay area or in the country makes $8,000 a year or some ridiculous figure. They basically take all the earnings, add it together, and then all the licensees. So you got a lot of people out there not making a lot of money. The 1% number is very small, the people that are really killing it. So this isn't a shot at realtors, because I don't think that realtors are stupid or incompetent or anything like that. I just think they're not trained. And there's no qualification process to become a realtor. If you could sit through the course and pass the test, which ain't that hard, anybody can get their license. It's fact. So when you're trusting a third party, somebody else besides yourself, to submit your offers, you got to ask yourself, what are the sales skills of that person? How effective will they be in portraying my needs in the transaction? Now, Larry Harbolt talks about this in his courses, especially his red, white, and blue program, the Never Step Into a Bank, he always presents his own offers, period. It doesn't matter if there's a broker involved or not. He will always be present and present his own offers. And the reason being is he doesn't know for sure that they will be able to present the offer exactly like he would want to present it. And more importantly, questions may come up, especially when you're doing anything creative. And the questions, the realtor or whoever is presenting the offer may not be as skilled or as versed in how Larry constructed the offer as compared to he would. So it's his little personal policy. Under no circumstances does anybody present his offers except for him. I have the same policy. I present my own offers, period. I encourage my buyers to instruct me to present all offers on their behalf, not to the agents, but to the sellers. Guys, there is a regulation in the National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics. It's in the rule book called the MLS Rules, which means if the real estate agent is a participating member of a multiple listing service, they are required to abide by these rules. If they don't, they can be called on the carpet for an ethics violation. They could lose access to the MLS. The punishment could be pretty severe. But it's in section 2.3, it says right of cooperating broker in presentation of an offer. And this applies to real estate agents. The cooperating broker, me, or his representative has the right, well, in this case, my broker is technically Bob McDougall, and I would be the authorized representative as the buyer's agent, has the right to participate in the presentation to the seller or lessor of any offer he secures to purchase or lease. There you go. So that's in black and white. There's another part of the National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics that says if a buyer chooses to decides that they want their offer to be there present when their offer is presented, listing agent has no choice. You have to grant that request. The only time that can be denied is if it's denied in writing by the seller. This is important information, guys. Will you get pushback when you try to enforce this? Absolutely. Part of the reason why people hire realtors is that they're non-confrontational. They're afraid. They fear that meeting. If I'm talking to Nick and Nick's going to make me an offer, I'm scared shitless because Nick's going to lowball me and no is uncomfortable and I don't want to have to say no. And that's just an uncomfortable situation. So I'm going to do whatever I can do to avoid that. Guys, that's why realtors have jobs, is because of that fact. You could talk about all the professionalism and blah, blah, blah. That's a bunch of crap. It's because people are afraid to say no. That's the number one reason people hire real estate agents, because the sellers are afraid to say no. So think about, from a strategic standpoint, how effective this could be if you do it right. If you're on the buying side, knowing this little secret, that they are that terrified that they're willing to give 3 to 6% or 7 or 8% of the proceeds of their sale to somebody else to alleviate them from that responsibility, it's a pretty powerful emotion. So if you can figure out a way to work through that gatekeeper situation. Now, I don't condone going around a licensed agent. I think that's a dirty pool. Respect prior business arrangements. I would never go around a licensed agent. That is not because I'm licensed. That's just because it's the right thing to do. You don't ever go around them. But make sure that you address them getting paid, because that's important to a real estate agent. That's why they're there. They're not there because they like pretty curtains and to, oh, look at the garden. Oh, look at this kitchen. Wouldn't this look lovely in your home? I see those things on Facebook. And I'm like, ugh, that's like the worst marketing ever. But understand that the real estate agent is a gatekeeper. And to some degree, that's their job. They're there to protect the seller. They're there to protect the needs of the seller. And the seller has obviously chosen of their own free will to be represented by an agent. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's always what's best for the seller. Okay. And here's an example of that. Recently, I'm working on an offer with Lance right now. Lance is looking at some multifamily properties. And we found a property and it's listed on the MLS. And we went to talk to I always call the listing agent. I want to find out as much information as I can. And if you're working on a property that there's an agent involved, Step one should be getting on the phone with the agent, finding out. Now, if you have your own agent, they should be doing this for you. But if you're by yourself, you should be doing this. You need to find out why the seller is selling. But understand that 9 times out of 10, the listing agent will not know the answer to that question. They just won't. Because remember, going back to training, they're not taught that. Nobody teaches them this part. The only way they're ever going to learn this is if they have a good broker. Like my broker is awesome, and he gives free training, and he teaches the new agents this, so they get it. But most agents don't have that luxury. You go to Keller Williams, they'll be talking about bold, yay, hoorah, zip boom bah, drink the Kool-Aid, give us 80% of your revenue. The training is horrific. Teaches you how to mime and never teaches you how to negotiate. So you're going to have to figure out a way to get the answers to these questions, because as an investor, as anybody buying a property, I don't care if you're an investor or not, if you don't understand why the seller is selling and truly understand that, you are 100% wasting your time running an offer. Because the only thing, if you don't know the answer to that question, the only thing that you can do is throw a price up. That's it. The only thing they have to come back with is a higher price. So how's that going to play out? They're either going to say yes to what you wrote down, or they're going to say no and counter it, which means you're automatically spending more money. So you absolutely have to discover why they are selling. Number one, write that down. Why are they selling? And when you hear because they want to relocate, that spawns another question. Where are they relocating to? How you ask these questions determines how the answers are going to be delivered, or if they're going to be delivered. If you're a smart aleck about it, or pushy, or creepy, you're not going to get any of these questions answered. So you've got to practice this, guys. And one of the best ways to practice is to do it. When I deal with my coaching students and we start this process working people on the phones, one of the things I require them to do, and my one-on-one students, we do this together for sometimes, we will get on the phone. I will get on the phone with them. I am listening in, they're doing the talking, and we will cold call properties for sale on Craigslist. Properties that we're not even interested in. And yes, that wastes somebody's time, but I don't care. People got to learn. So we will cold call these people, and I want them to make mistakes on properties that don't matter. I want them to exercise that mistake muscle and be okay with oh, I can't believe I just said that. Well, that's fine if it's a double wide, upside down, wrapped around a tree after a hurricane. Who cares? I didn't want to buy that anyway. But at least you're going to get used to no, number one, and you're going to be able to refine your craft. Because here's the thing, guys, there is no script. And I know a lot of you, I get emails all the time. Tyler, can we have a script? I did that podcast a while back where I had the phone interview with the seller. Everybody's like, oh, dude, can you give me a copy of that script? No, because it's not a script. I just talk to people. Don't get caught up by scripts. Scripts are fine, but the problem is you start to rely on them, and then eventually you sound like a robot. And if you sound like a robot, then people are going to pick up on that, and it's going to make them uncomfortable. So you want to avoid that at all costs. Once you get on the phone with them and you discover you truly understand why they're selling, and this is going to just take time. You're going to have to practice this, asking the question different ways, changing the inflection in your voice. Smile when you're talking to people, number one, even on the phone, because it puts you in a better mood. Hey, Nick, I was wondering, why in the world would you sell such a beautiful house like this? Pete Fortunato taught me that. You're paying them a compliment. It makes them at ease. Nick's like, oh, because I'm moving to Ottumwa, Iowa. Geez, it's cold up there, Nick. Why would you be moving to Ottumwa, Iowa? It's cold up there. Well, my son's in a wheelchair and he's, and you go through the whole, now you start to get to the pain. So now okay, son's in a wheelchair. Well, that means he probably has some additional medical expenses that the average seller doesn't have. Maybe he has to pay for one of those wheelchair transport services. Guys, I'm here to tell you, those are not cheap, and insurance in this country sucks. So that, to a lot of people, is an out-of-pocket expense. That's a pain point. Maybe going off on a little bit of, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. What? That's got to be challenging. Does insurance cover all that cost for you, though? I know that's expensive, the transport service. Well, no, they only cover about 60% of it. Oh, wow. So how much does that cost you a month? Oh, that's like 400 and some odd dollars a month, let's say. Write that down, guys. If you can make your mortgage payment part of that payment to take that off their hands, that's a value add, guys. That's something that they're going to want to, that you're going to rein them in. They're going to get on board with that. You can use that later. You don't have to use it now. Because remember, we're dating. We're not running off to the altar. But you know that there's a $400 pain point out there. It could be anything. It could be, we did a Chapter 13 bankruptcy and we've got payments, or Chapter 11, whichever one it was, you get payments. I think it's 13, you get payments. My Chapter 13 payments are $1,100 a month. Well, lo and behold, the damn financial calculator said the payment is $1,250 a month. That means we'll cover your bankruptcy payments and give you $150 a month. Does that make sense? Does that work for you? Remember, in that conversation, never did I mention price. Because here's the thing, guys. Sales price doesn't matter to you or them. If you let it matter, then it will matter to everybody. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to bottom line. You know, if I'm going to buy something from Lisa and Lisa has to pay off the debt on it, like I want to buy Lisa's car. Hey, Lisa, I'll give you 20 grand for your car. Lisa owes 21 grand. That's a problem. But if I know that Lisa owes 15,000 on her car, Lisa, how about if we work it out to where you can net 3,500 on this? Would that make sense? That's net. I don't like to talk in gross numbers because I don't want to misrepresent things. I wouldn't want you to be disappointed at the closing table. I'm an honest person and I shoot straight. A lot of people appreciate that, especially the older folks. So think about that. The problem, folks, that we've had is that everybody today is afraid of confrontation. And I don't necessarily mean just negative confrontation. It's just they're afraid of face-to-face. We've become a mobile phone society. As I learn about digital marketing, because, you know, I market for Larry, I market for myself, Larry Harbolt, and some other folks. It's a challenge trying to overcome people's fear of confrontation. It's sometimes people just simply won't communicate. They lock up. Knowing this, if you can figure out a way to get in front of them, to have that conversation with them, it's a different experience. Think of it this way. Right now, you guys can see me. But now we're having a completely separate conversation. You can hear me, but that's about it. You can't see me. All you see is my logo. That's it. So I'm just talking at you. You're not really seeing me move around. You're not seeing it in the background. Now I'm back. It's a different experience. You can see the inflection. You can see my eyes move. You can see if I'm smiling or not, if I'm giving you a mean look, if I'm flipping you off, something like that. You can see all that stuff. So it's a far more powerful way of conveying your message. Okay, far more powerful. And I get that it's tough. That's where the practice comes in. The only way you're ever going to get this, there is no super secret book, although there are some good ones. The best way to practice this is to pick up that phone and get comfortable with the verbiage, the language, start talking. And as you get comfortable, once you start getting comfortable with that, then do the face-to-face. And this is why I talk about networking being so important. I hate crowds of people. I don't like it. I mean, what happened in Vegas is a perfect example of one of the reasons why I don't like that. People are crazy these days. But I don't like being around big crowds of people. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm kind of what you call an introverted extrovert. Yes, I can go up on stage in front of 1,000 people and put on a presentation and blow your doors off. No problem. I have no fear of that anymore. But talking one-on-one to Lisa makes me a little twitchy sometimes if I don't know the person. Trying to know what to say. And I've been doing it for years. And it's still somewhat uncomfortable. It's a painful process. But I know I have to do it to be successful. Because if I don't do it, I'm simply not going to get to where I want to go. I'm going to run out of time. Okay? I can't begin to tell you how important eye contact is. And I notice this as I do more video. If you look at my videos from before, I was always wandering off. I was looking at something, trying to read my notes off a board behind the camera or something else. I learned that I had to get better. I was watching my own videos. I had to get better at eye contact. I had to get used to looking straight into the camera lens. Sometimes when I get into long things, like if you see recorded videos of me on YouTube, some of the videos I'm getting ready to record, I'm using a teleprompter. I'll be honest with you, because there's a lot of information and it's very detailed information. I want to make sure that I provide all the facts, that I don't skip over something and miss something. So I will use a teleprompter. The teleprompter keeps me looking directly into the camera so that I can have better line of communication with you. Therefore, the delivery of the information is more effective. When you get the audible and visual together, the two make a far better delivery of the message. Now, can you guys do that with a text message or an instant message? If I did nothing but talked in the chat, would it be the same experience? It absolutely wouldn't. Let's give it a shot. Sucks, doesn't it? You're like, oh, and it's always at an inconvenient time. Your phone's blowing up. You're in a meeting. You're trying to pay attention. You're looking at at my text and you're going, you don't really know how to take that. I was thinking that I want to buy your house. Well, you spelled "you're" wrong, you idiot. Some people say that. You spelled it wrong. I had a lady. We have a credit repair arm of our company, right? We do credit repair with the National Credit Federation. One of our marketing pieces led to a free download. In that free download was a testimonial about Dave Falk. Dave Falk is the owner of National Credit Federation. The person that left the testimonial spelled the word "there" incorrectly. They transposed the letters. It was a testimonial, guys. A testimonial means Lisa wrote it about Nick. I can't change in good faith Lisa's testimonial because it's no longer a testimonial. It's what Tyler said. So they left it organic on purpose to be authentic because that's how Dave does business. He's not going to blow smoke up people's ass. Well, this woman emails me, who happens to be a licensed real estate broker, and tweaked out on me that "there" was spelled wrong. Therefore, she would never do business with National Credit Federation because they're obviously incompetent because they missed a typo on somebody else's testimonial. I'm going, whoa, we got some issues. We need some counseling. My point, guys, is people will judge you based on how your stuff messages come over very easily. Your tone, your whatever. I'm part of a group called The Kingdom where I'm a mentor to these younger guys and girls. And it's a paid group. They pay a monthly fee, and I'm basically a hired gun. I go in there and coach them through real estate transactions and whatnot. I do that on Monday mornings. Long story short, these are a sensitive group of people. And I got to the point where I pretty much don't type anything in the Facebook group anymore. If I have to answer a question, more often than not, I will make a video. Because these people today are so easily offended. If they interpret what you typed incorrectly, they have a meltdown. Oh my God, he's mean to me. They look and hear my voice and think that I'm just some big barracuda bastard, which those of you that know me in person know that's so not the case. I'm probably the easiest going guy you'll ever meet. And I don't even advocate violence. Although I'm rapidly changing my mindset on that. Just kidding. But some people deserve to get their ass kicked. But I have to make a video sometimes, and that's why I've transitioned to video. I'm a very to the point kind of guy. Life's too short to lie to you and blow smoke up your skirt. I won't do it. So instead, video, I feel I can be more genuine. You can see me and see that I'm not hiding behind a computer screen. I'm actually a real person, and you can identify better with me. When I changed a lot of my emails, those of you that email me with real estate questions, usually you will get a video reply instead of a written reply. Mainly because the video reply, I can say a lot more than I can effectively type out. My mom was an English major. She has just short of a doctorate in English. So for me, I was raised by somebody who has a double master's in English. I'm very sensitive to my writing. It's got to be perfect or I won't send it, which for me means it will take me 2 hours to reply to your email. So with a video email, I can say what I got to say. I don't have to be punctual and perfect, but I can say what I got to say and deliver my message. What I've learned, guys, by doing that is that my message is delivered far more effectively. I just did a video for Lance the other day. He had a question on a property that we're looking at. So I was able to explain everything I want to explain without typing it all out, number one. So big time saver for Tyler. Two, majority of people in America are visual learners. So he could see what I was talking about. He could identify with it. He hears it and sees it. Remember, two most important elements. And he retains the information so much better. So that also means that he has far fewer questions because I can address everything where I may skip over stuff in an email. This is why, folks, it is so important to make sure you capture that audible and visual at the same time whenever you can. And that's where the face-to-face comes in. Now on Zoom, like we got a couple people that are on Zoom right now, and I know a lot of you are at work and you're watching this and you've got your screen shut off because you're at work. Totally get that. Nothing wrong with that. The rest, some of you have your screen off because you're just shy or your hair's not done or whatever. That's not necessarily fine. If that's the case, that sends a little bit of a message that you're shy and sheepish. So think about how that's portrayed. Now, that may not be the case at all. You just may just feel like you don't feel like putting your damn screen on, or you dropped your phone and broke your camera. I don't know. But people could interpret that as something different than what it actually is. See, because we all make interpretations. And I am almost always wrong when I guess. Almost always wrong. Sometimes, unfortunately, I'm right, and that's no fun. I don't really like to be right, believe it or not. Let's see here. Covered that. I got some notes for today. Yeah, so some people are just cannot be in front of the camera or face-to-face. It just doesn't work for them. And if that's the case, guys, then you have to be in a position to hire somebody that can do that for you. For example, real estate gurus, when they pitch you a big program, it is always face-to-face in a room, a seminar, or they will call you on the phone. They call it the big ticket close. Rich Dad and all these other companies that put out these ridiculously priced programs, you're safe, essentially, for the most part, if it's an email. Can't hurt you in an email. But where they're going to get you is they're going to get you face-to-face. If they got you face-to-face, it's over with because they're going to draw on your emotion, right? I study this because I find it fascinating. One of my mentors told me the best way I could learn how to sell was to go to a timeshare presentation with my checkbook and come out unscathed, because I learned how to overcome objection. Because, man, timeshare people are some of the best closers on the planet. They make used car salesmen look like they're walking in the park. So my wife and I, Jill and I, went down to South Florida and looked at a very high-end timeshare. At the time, I had like 200 grand sitting in my account, ready to pull the trigger. I could have bought a couple of them. And they have a compelling argument. And I threw everything I had at them, and I was still losing. And even Jill's looking at me like, well, maybe we should. I'm going, oh, no. And she's usually the tough one. I'm the laydown. She's the tough one. I'm like, no, you can't lose ground now, because if you cave, I'm done. You're going to get me for sure. But we were able to get out of there unscathed. And we've got a free cruise to the Bahamas, which was pretty cool, actually. My point is, though, working through that exercise, man, did that walk away. I gained so much confidence and skill after that, because it's not just practicing selling to other people. It's also practicing being effective in saying no. Because what you may not realize, the best closers on the planet are really good at saying no. And by that, I mean, if I'm negotiating with Nick, and Nick is the seller, and Nick is giving me a price that I know is not going to work for my needs, I've got to master the art of saying no. Even though Nick's going to give me no money down, interest-free, 75-year financing, but guys, the deal doesn't work, I've got to be able to say no. Otherwise, I'm going to say yes to Nick. Nick's going to laugh all the way to the bank, and we're going to have a problem. So We've got to get good at being clear on our criteria and saying no when we're with these folks. That's going to keep you out of financial jail. To kind of recap, once we've got a seller on the phone or we've got the listing agent on the phone, the whole purpose of being on the phone, guys, is to fact find. You want to be asking questions. Why are you selling? What are you going to do with the money? I'm curious. What are you going to do with that big old pile of money? When you say it, it's kind of funny. It deflates a little bit of the resistance. If you go, Lisa, what are you going to do with that money? Lisa would be like, damn, does this dude work for the IRS? What money? I don't know what you're talking about. I got nothing for sale. Go away. Click. But if I say, oh my gosh, Lisa, that's going to be an awesome pile of money. I'm excited for you. What are you going to do first? You're going to buy a new car? You're going to go on a vacation? You got to do something fun. What are you going to do? And then she gets all excited and she's like, I'm gonna go get a Harley and a tattoo and I'm gonna travel around the world in a Learjet. It'll be great. And she just rolled right over and gave me the information, right? You see how I got excited? That automatically got her excited. So let's think about how else that can go wrong with us. If I get wound up, nervous, show that I'm nervous, I'm gonna automatically make Lisa nervous, or worse, she's going to smell blood in the water and get me. But what we do, how we react, and the best way to overcome this, guys, is you look them straight in the eye. And the minute, if Nick and I are negotiating, the minute that I know that Nick starts looking down and Nick is having difficulty maintaining eye contact with me, he's either uncomfortable or he's not being 100% forthright with me, right? That is my blood in the water. The minute I win in the eye contact thing, it's over with. And if you shake my hand and give me a weak handshake, it's over with. I'm going to eat you up and just spit you out. It's just not going to be fun for you. It blast for me and my buyer. But that's that. We can't do any of this, guys, unless we're face to face. And face to face doesn't necessarily mean in the same room, because sometimes that's logistically impossible. Like right now, I am way too lazy to drive to Spring Hill to be face to face with Lisa. But we can have this Zoom session and I can have a conversation with her. Is it the same? No. But it's better than just being on the phone, or worse, sending her an instant message. Hey, baby, you got a house for sale? Oh my God. Yeah, that'll last about 10 seconds. Next thing you know, somebody else will be knocking on my door. Not good. We can really, I would almost venture to say that 90% of the time, and anybody that has a spouse, male or female, tell me I'm wrong. How many times have you sent a text that has been misinterpreted? Especially to your own spouse. Nick's like, hell yeah, woman kicked my ass. Thought I said something I didn't say. I didn't mean that. It came out wrong. I typed it. But buddy, you can't get that back. That text is gone. Once it's gone, it's over with. You can tap dance if it's verbal. Trust me, I got a couple pairs of tap shoes. That's the only reason I'm still alive. And, Jill hasn't taken me fishing. But Brian says, I much prefer face-to-face. What advice do you have of people that are guarded and hesitant to meet face-to-face? It's a great question. You got to spend some time. That's where things like Zoom become helpful, because they may be intimidated. Like, one of the reasons I don't door knock is because I look like this. I come up to your door, people are like, holy crap, this guy's going to kill me. It doesn't work as well for me door knocking. So this is an easier way for me to communicate. Sometimes I have Jill do it because she's soft sounding and she's cute and pretty and she's not a scary beast like I am. So I'll convert and have somebody else do it for me. And Ryan, you could do the same thing. Have your wife do it. If you're got a spouse, and this is the beauty, like Nick and his wife are a team in real estate, and like Jill and I are, and that's very effective because although they're a married couple, they have very different personalities. Where somebody might be intimidated by Nick a little bit, they're certainly not going to be intimidated by his wife. She's a beautiful blonde, sweet, great personality. She's a girl. She's just not Nick. Nothing that there's anything wrong with Nick, but Nick may intimidate some people like I do. He's a well-built guy. He's ex-Navy chief. He's used to being in charge. That's just how he rolls. It's in his blood. You can't change that. So our personality would scare the heck out of some people. but he's got his lovely wife, and I'd be afraid to negotiate with that woman. She'd clean me out. There'd be nothing left. I mean, he's probably sitting on a lawn chair right now. And she's got a big fancy chair sitting behind him. But you can use BombBomb, but remember, BombBomb sends it one way. It's not a back and forth, but BombBomb is a great resource. Another one is, oh boy, Lance, you and I were just talking about this. What's the name of it? If you're there. Loom, Loom. It's called, go to Use Loom. I'll put it in the chat. Use Loom. Use Loom is totally free. The deal is you have to refer to somebody else. So what I did was I opened an account. It's free. I had to refer it to one person to get up to 10 minutes of video usage. Well, I got a huge database. So I sent an email out to people in my database. Well, I have so many people in my database, like everybody opted in. So I don't ever have to pay for Loom ever again. It was like, well, that worked. I never had to pay for it in the first place. It's totally free for me. I've got unlimited storage, unlimited everything. They actually sent me an email going, dude, who are you? You like blew up our servers when you sent that out. So you're forever free. We want you to be the beta program and whatever you need. Okay, great. So you use Loom. It's refer it to somebody else and a couple people, and it becomes free for you forever. Another benefit, guys, of having a big database. When you have that big database, you can get things like that and use that leverage. Number one, I'm providing value to the people that are in my database. They got something that they wouldn't have probably found on their own. I don't even remember who referred it to me, but somebody referred it to me, and I've been using it ever since. Yeah, you're right, Lance, the power of a database. Let's see here. BombBomb is fantastic. There's a cost. It's like 40 or 50 bucks a month for BombBomb. The thing I like about BombBomb is it's already built into Gmail. And what I really love about it is it's on my cell phone. See, the Loom, I have to be in front of my desktop. When I'm out in the field, I can't use Loom. But on the BombBomb, they have an app. And I have my iPhone app, and I can just talk right to my phone, and it automatically converts it to an email and fires it off. So that, for me, is huge. And it's been a game changer as far as my open rates in my email. Industry average open rates are like 20%. My emails on average, my video emails, my open rate is 92% across all channels. 92% of my video emails get opened. That's pretty impressive as compared to my written emails are about 45%, which still I'm double the average, but you can't argue with 92%. That's just nuts. What I do, folks, is when we've had a conversation, I try to verbally negotiate what we're going to do first. We as a society have fallen into a trap of, and this is what real estate agents do, which drives me crazy, and I catch investors doing it too. Oh, look, there's a house for sale. I'm going to write an offer. So you go write up an offer. You don't talk to anybody, and you just email it over. And then you wonder when you see the for sale sign go down. You're like, oh my God, maybe they accepted my offer. And you see somebody else move into the house. What happened? Well, let's see. The only thing they had to base your offer on was price, and it sucked, so they turned it down. They didn't get the offer because of when they emailed. They did get the offer, but the agent sucked and forgot to turn it over to the other one. Your offer had another agent with commission on it, and the agent conveniently forgot to present your offer. I'm sure that never happens, ever. And lo and behold, the listing agent sold it to their own buyer and got all the commission. I'm sure that could never happen because that would be highly unethical. Lots of different ways that could happen if you just blindly send offers over. Every time I have a listing, guys, every time, I can tell you I get at least 3 offers come over via email without any phone call that they're coming, any introduction. Out of that, I would say 75% of the time they wind up in my spam box. And I'm one of those people that looks in my spam box, fortunately. And I have to call the agent and go, or the buyer, did you send me an offer? Is this you? Yeah. Oh, was it accepted? Well, I haven't presented it yet. Why not? Wow. What a great personality we have. This is what goes on, guys. And if your agent, you're a lot of times these agents are sweet as pie on one side, but then how they treat the other agents is obnoxious. I mean, I've had some that were just, I got offended, if you can believe that. I mean, I think I'm the last guy in the world you could offend, but I'm like, wow, you're a dick. Oof, I didn't say that, but it's like, really? Okay. This is why it's so important for us to have that communication. Hey, this is Tyler, Future Home Realty. Just call on. Thanks for giving me the information the other day. Listen, my buyers decided to put in an offer. Like to go ahead and schedule a time when you and I and the buyer and the seller can get on a conference call and maybe have a meeting in minds, or better yet, we can have a cup of coffee. My buyer said they would even buy the coffee. How about that? And shut up. And then the agents, like just happened recently with Lance's deal, the agent's like, oh no, I'm not comfortable with that. What do you mean? Oh, you can't talk to the seller. How come? Oh, I'm perfectly capable of delivering the offer. Don't doubt that one bit. However, the offer may have several moving parts, and the buyer would like the opportunity to be able to explain if there's any questions that have specific answers, that the buyer would be the best person probably to explain, or myself, explain that offer to both you and the seller so that everybody's clear. And she wasn't having it. Technically, she didn't have a choice, as we talked about in the beginning, but she was not having it. She was like getting really twitchy. Here's the problem. That property's been on the market for 6 months. Now we know why. And she even told me early on the call that, like I said earlier, oh, well, we've already got offers and they said this and they're crazy. So I told the sellers, forget it. This is why you have to present your offers to the sellers yourself, or have your agent do it. Because you have these listing agents out there that are like the Gestapo. They feel like there's some big solid protector, and they don't realize that the seller needs to sell the damn place. They don't really need to play games. And not every seller, folks, needs top dollar. Sometimes they just need it done. They need it done right away. So these are things that are absolutely critical. I can tell you that probably 98% of the time, offers come over to me via email. And of that, at least half the time, I never get a phone call. I have to call them. It's sad. Same thing with investors. Investors call me all the time, or people that just went to a seminar. And what's hilarious is the two listings I have right now are both brand new rehabs. They just got rehabbed. They're flips for clients of mine, and they're gorgeous. And these ding dongs will call me and go, "So what's your bottom dollar?" Huh? What do you mean? What's your bottom dollar? What do you take for that? I'm an investor. Oh, cool. Nice to meet you. My name's Tyler. Well, what's your bottom dollar? I haven't got time for all this. Oh, okay. Call me back when you got time. Click. Because you get more bees with honey, guys, and you can't walk around smacking people in the face and expect to get anything accomplished. If you guys are rehabbing or flipping properties and you're selling them yourself and you suck at sales, you should think about that. If you're looking for ways to cut corners, this isn't a commercial for hire a realtor, because, as we said, not all of them are very good. But if you find a realtor that is strong at negotiating, pay them to do the job for you that you're not good at. It's kind of like, if you can't paint very good or don't enjoy doing it, hire a painter. I happen to be very good at painting, but I loathe the project. I can't stand painting. I don't even like to buy paint. I hate painting so much. I will always hire someone to paint for me. Period. It's not my highest and best use of my time. It's not I may be good at painting, but it's not really what I'm good at as compared to other things. There are better things to do with my time. Guys, you can't do all of it yourself. You can't be the guy that goes out and finds the deals, or the girl who finds the deals, rehabs it yourself, Nick, does all the work, Nick, and then tries to sell it yourself, Nick, and then think you're making more money, because you're not, Nick. You're really, and not to point anybody else out, Nick, but you're just finding time. You're wasting time because you're not doing what you're best at, which is leading. See, some people, Nick, are born leaders because the military made them that way. So they should capitalize on that skill and put other people in place that are better at it than them. Make sense, guys? Awesome. Well, I'm off my soapbox now. Anybody have any questions or statements you want to say, things you want more clarity on what we talked about today? I hope you've got some value out of it to get you out in front of people and to realize that, guys, this is not an arm wrestling match. I mean, by no means is it an arm wrestling match. Lance, go ahead.
Hey, brother, I'm driving. I'm going to get face to face with you, though.
Focus on the damn road. Pull over.
I know, brother. I got some space, 50 feet.
You're killing me.
That was fantastic, the example you did with the text versus face-to-face versus just audio. I think that hit home. I really enjoyed that.
Good.
I appreciate you doing that. Can you go back to when you just said, when you gave the example of the one we're working on, is that something like not every seller needs top dollar, some just want it done. So is that something they teach in real estate school, that their fiduciary responsibility, or is this just some misconception that's gone way off the deep end?
It's a misconception. Realtors are kind of like a cult following in a way. Here's my point. Like last night, or earlier this week, they had this thing called something Palooza. It's like this party of the year where they have all these functions for all realtors to get together and hang out. I think they should ban those, because what happens is bad realtors hang out with good realtors. Bad realtors are always yammering on about how Zillow's stealing their business and they've been doing this for 30 years and blah, 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 blah. So they impact the new realtors that are young and impressionable. So they learn these things from each other. And realtors are probably the most cliquey bunch of professional licensees in the planet. I mean, mortgage brokers don't hang out together, but realtors do. And this is why people say to me, how come you never come to the realtor functions? Because I'm not going to spend my time hanging around other, broke people. I mean, sorry, but what value do you have to add for me? I don't need you to buy or sell a house for me. You don't have any money to invest in any of my projects. Really don't know what value you would bring. I'll go to a RIA meeting because I'll learn something. Somebody will teach me something new. I'll go to a realtor meeting if somebody is going to be there that I think I can learn something from, then I'll definitely go. If my broker's speaking, I'll run through rings of fire to go to his meeting because I learn a lot from that guy. Every time he speaks, I'm learning something new. It's like, whoa. So I will always go to his meetings. I mean, no doubt. Anytime Kevin Overstreet is putting something, if he's teaching, I will definitely go. He's my title guy. If my attorney's speaking, I will go. But otherwise, I don't spend time going to things where I don't see that educational value. And that's where these agents get this from, is each other. They are their own worst enemies. Sad, but it is.
Wow.
Amanda makes an important point here. Bad realtors can kill a deal. Bad investors can kill a deal too, guys. The worst situation in the world is a rehabber selling their own house. That is ridiculous. Now, perfect example of this, not to call anybody else out, but Amanda Young is rehabbing. But Amanda Young has partnered with a real estate agent. The real estate agent handles the selling of the house. Amanda handles managing the rehab. That makes sense. But if Amanda is the one, now they're partners in the deal, whatever. But it helps from a negotiating standpoint to have a disinterested third party or a less interested third party involved in the transaction. Amanda, if she was by herself doing the sales process, although she'd be highly effective at it, she has an attachment to the end result. By default, if Lisa is the buyer, Lisa, a lot of times, in this case, the average buyer does not want to deal directly with the decision maker. They want an intermediary. Sometimes Amanda may she'll look at any offer. You could send her offer for $1, but she's a negotiator. She can handle negotiating. when there's no agent in the mix, some people may not even submit an offer because they don't want the failure point. They don't want to upset Amanda. Oh, look at Amanda. She's a nice lady, smart, driven, great. Met her at an open house. I wouldn't want to hurt her feelings by writing an offer that's lower than what she's asking. So I just won't write an offer and I'll go buy somebody else's house. Fact. This happens, guys. This is absolute fact. And it sucks that you got to put 6% in the middle to make that all work. But this is the society, guys, and we have to bend to the society that we're in. An example of that is, you guys know I do the marketing to help Larry Harbolt sell his product. And his product, his audience has always been an older audience. Well, now we have a new generation coming in. And what we've realized with the millennials is they don't want big, long courses anymore. They don't have the patience to sit down and watch anything. You got to keep videos under 5 minutes or you lose them. Larry, unlike most real estate educators, he actually gives a damn about people learning something from his courses. So he gets mad when he sells a course to a millennial and then they don't know anything. He takes that personally, like it's a failure of him. And I'm like, Larry, it's not a failure of you. It's that they can't focus long enough. So now we're going through all of his training materials and we're breaking everything up into little nuggets, little pieces, so that people can take in this information. Because otherwise, everybody's all shiny object. Oh, squirrel. Hey. Ooh. Ah. My email course. We had thousands of people opt into that. Tells you everything you need to know to analyze a deal. I could see who watched what video for how long and how much they rewound. 75% of the people that signed up for that never even logged in to watch the videos. Go figure. They want the information, but once they get it, they put it on the shelf. They don't follow through. My mastermind, some people are going to have a struggle because when I start the mastermind coming up soon, you're going to have to perform. You're absolutely going to have to perform. You're not going to be able to put the mastermind on a shelf. I'm not even going to let you in the program if I think that's even remotely possible. And for some people, it's going to suck. And they're going to quit and they're going to get a refund, and that's okay. Because we are in the business of helping people become successful, period. Let's see here. Almost had one kill my 1031 exchange deal over 30 years of being a realtor. He didn't know what exchange was. Ugh. One of the most basic forms of trading real estate, but I digress. Erm says, I agree about realtors not being properly educated. I'm a realtor, took a 3-month course, not even as long as the one in college semester, passed the test. That was it. Real education definitely comes in the field. Absolutely. It's all hands-on, guys. All hands-on. All hands-on. So, guys, I'm going to wrap for today. I got a lot of stuff to do, like finish organizing, or you know who gets home and kills me. Just kidding. But yeah, busy day today. Got a lot of stuff going on. Got to do a little marketing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Hope you guys found some value. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, type in Cash Flow Guys. Boom, there you go. And subscribe. I'm going to be putting a lot of content on YouTube in the next couple of weeks. Lots of content. So, guys, I appreciate it. Have a great week.